for the state of Romania and for the foreign affairs, for our diplomacy. I was the number one priority. It was the first thing she signed on her first day.
That's Tamila Cristescu. She's 27, she's the daughter of a prominent Romanian politician, and until June, she was working in her country's consulate in New York. How that changed, and her reaction to it, tells us about politics, the generation gap, and divisions in the world today. Let's hear the story.
I rose to fame overnight without expecting it. So for 3 years, up until June, end of June, I was working in the consulate of Romania in New York as a consular agent, because the press said that I was vice consul. I wasn't, and they created this story. So I was at work, and out of nowhere I got a memo that that day was my last day of work. So what happened mainly is that, first of all, I had the privilege of helping the people and supporting the Romanian community there. It was maybe like one of the greatest roles and honors I had so far. So for me, that was the most important thing. And I think, we went through a period of political transition. We had elections, they were annulled. Then we had elections again, new president, new government. So they appointed this new Minister of Foreign Affairs. And the first day she got into office, the first thing she signed was, this notification of recalling me back home. The first thing, which came out of nowhere. And she did that without reviewing my work or activity, nothing. Just, she got into office and an hour later I was done with my work. So, officially, she said, and then the press said that she recalled me because it was part of a reform process aimed at professionalizing diplomatic appointments. They created this narrative that I was too young and I wasn't having enough experience for the role. But, I don't wanna go into this again. I don't think she was also very prepared or qualified for this position, so that was not fair to me. And I said it back then, I respect this institutional reform when it's fair and transparent, but in my case it wasn't. It was quite evident that the decision was a bit personal. It wasn't linked to my performance, but it was somewhat to political sensitivities to my father, who is also in politics. So it was, a bit of a political revenge. I was a bit executed publicly. So from the moment when I got recalled, I was in New York for 2 more weeks. And every day since that moment, I went out and I was just asking publicly, please, I would like to know the reason why I was recalled. That's the only thing I want, just the reason. Did I do something wrong? If you're saying it's not, a political revenge against my father, then what is it? What did I do wrong? Because you didn't even have the time to review my activity. So I kept asking every day and every day and every day. I never got a reason. So in the last day, when I was in the airport, actually, I had that t-shirt, which I had for 2 years. It was this big oversized t-shirt that said, "Want to fuck you." I had it for 2 years. I wore it before. I was just, it happened, but I learned from it. So no more t-shirts. No more t-shirts. I'm done with t-shirts. And I think I was just so frustrated because I knew I didn't do anything wrong, and I was trying to grab her attention and I couldn't. And with that, I did grab her attention and she had to come out, and she basically said that, it wasn't related to anything about my family, it was just a reform. Well, I still don't know the answer today if I did something wrong or not, but that was just a spur of the moment, out of anger, frustration, sadness. I don't want to get exactly into the details what I'm doing right now. I'm just, I just got back to New York yesterday. I was in Washington for a week, and what I can say is that I'm in a phase where I'm in Washington, learning a great deal and observing closely a lot of things I'm privileged to have the opportunity to be there. You know, being in New York for 3 years, I met a lot of people um, that are now working in the current administration, and I created connections. So obviously, and when everyone found out what happened to me, they felt bad. So they're like, you should come to Washington, see if you like it, meet people, create, you know, like connections, more connections. So for me right now, just having the opportunity to be around people of such caliber is professional growth for the moment. And I'd say the main difference I noticed is in Washington they do value young people. You know, they're not criticized, they're not unexperienced, they're so valued. So I wish this could happen in Romania, because you know everyone is complaining we had the same people for 20, 30 years, the same faces, but then the young generation, like, I think that's the future, and they should be like led to prove their worth, which they're not. And I think that's the biggest thing. I was called inexperienced, and you know, you don't have enough like experience, nothing, for like 3 months. And then I go to Washington and I see all these young people that are working in the current administration, my age, a bit older, but like I say from like 25 to 35. It's amazing. So right now I'm there learning, meeting people, making connections. For the moment, I'm waiting to see, you know, what the future holds. I would love to be back and represent my country. I could go to the UN, for example, but me working for my country directly and helping the people, I can even explain the joy I had doing it. So like just helping people every day. So that's my 5 years, 10 years, let's say ambassador. Let's say I want to be ambassador to Romania in the United States. That's the plan.